If you want to keep strict track of time, the Earth is a terrible clock. No 2 days are ever the exact same length. The planet's rotation constantly speeds up and slows down, warping the length of our days by tiny fractions of a second. For most of our history, only massive natural forces had the power to alter that spin. The moon's gravitational pull, dragging against our oceans, gradually slows the planet down, while extreme seismic events, like a massive earthquake, can snap the Earth into a slightly tighter, faster rotation. But recently, NASA scientists identified a new variable altering the planet's rotation. For the first time, a human-made structure is actively changing the length of a day. This is the Three Gorges Dam in central China. By spanning the Yangtze River, this single facility holds back 40 billion cubic meters of water in its immense reservoir. The physical scale of this barrier is difficult to comprehend. It stands 185 meters tall, stretches over 2 kilometers across the river valley, and is reinforced with enough steel to construct 63 replicas of the Eiffel Tower. When you excavate that much mass and use it to trap billions of tons of water in a single concentrated location, you cross the line from civil engineering into planetary astrophysics. So, how exactly does a stationary wall of concrete and steel physically slow down the spin of an entire planet? It comes down to a principle of physics called angular momentum. This is the total quantity of a spinning object's rotation, and in a closed system, that total value has to remain constant. You can see this happen when an ice skater performs a spin. When the skater pulls their arms in tightly toward their center of mass, their rotation suddenly speeds up. When that same skater stretches their arms back outward, they increase their physical resistance to the spin. To conserve that total momentum, their rotation has to slow down. The Three Gorges Dam does exactly this to the Earth. Lifting 40 billion tons of water out of the river valley and holding it 175 meters above sea level is the planetary equivalent of the skater stretching their arms outward. Geophysicists at NASA calculated the precise impact of this mass redistribution. The weight of the Three Gorges Reservoir pushes outward against the Earth's rotation, enough to increase the length of a single day by exactly 0.06 microseconds. Because that immense weight is concentrated in one specific geographic region, it physically forced the Earth's axis to tilt, moving the geographic poles by approximately 2 centimeters. A fraction of a microsecond might sound like a rounding error, but space agencies have to actively track and account for this human-induced time dilation. If they ignore it, the microscopic drift in Earth's rotation will cause interplanetary probes to drift off course in deep space. Out in the cosmos, a fraction of a microsecond is negligible. Down on the ground, wielding the physical force required to cause it creates devastating collateral damage. The unnatural weight of the reservoir pressing down on the bedrock triggers a phenomenon called reservoir-induced seismicity. It generates hundreds of micro-earthquakes, destabilizing the surrounding cliffsides and causing deadly landslides. Downstream, the dam disrupts the flow of the Yangtze to an extreme degree. The sudden loss of natural water rhythms and spawning grounds has starved the local ecosystem, driving unique native species, like the Baiji river dolphin, to the brink of extinction. To clear the massive footprint required for the reservoir, roughly 1.4 million people were permanently displaced, and over 100 towns were entirely submerged. The ability to shift a planet's axis and stretch the length of a day demands a direct sacrifice of the local ecosystem and the human communities that once lived upon it. China accepted these risks because the alternative was a river that routinely devastated the region. Unpredictable seasonal floods on the Yangtze historically wiped out crops, destroyed millions of homes, and killed thousands of people in a single season. By holding back the river, the dam now acts as the world's largest battery. In a single year, it generated a record-breaking 111.8 terawatt-hours of clean electricity. That single energy source replaces the need to burn 50 million tons of coal annually, keeping a massive volume of carbon emissions out of the atmosphere. Our ancestors looked at the rotation of the Earth and used it merely to tell the time. Now, human ambition has scaled up so drastically that we are actively re-engineering the physical mechanics of the planet itself.